Okay, so Ken, this is the Fool. Do you want to maybe talk about before I give my interpretation?
Okay. The interpretation that I was given was that you can see the artist has drawn him as quite naive. He's often looking in the stars and he's holding a flower and he's on a journey somewhere, but he's not really paying that much attention. So that's the first observation. He's naive. And so it's possible, the interpretation I had by this fourth way philosopher was that when we become enlightened or, get close, this is how we look to other people, because we don't really give a hoot about the planet Earth. We're looking up toward the as above. And so we're not really paying much attention to the so below. So lots of people would think we're quite naive and we're in danger and we better watch out. And they'd be urging us caution, like the little dog there saying, watch out, you're getting close to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So the interpretation that this Ouspensky had was that that's how we look when we're getting close to enlightenment. We look that way to other people here on the planet Earth because we're not paying that much attention to the planet Earth anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is kind of carefree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
going somewhere. He's on a journey because he's got his pack.
Yeah, but it's very little. He's taken very little on that journey, right?
Yeah.
But he's not, some guru meditating on a mountain and he's in rags. He's well dressed, right? Even though he's close to a cliff and he could just walk off of it, he still seems to be, somewhat firmly attached to the earth, And the rose, it's a white rose, looks like. So I just think of, purity and beauty.
That's a good observation. Yeah. Are his eyes open or closed?
To me, they seem closed, but it's hard to tell. They could be open. They could very much be open.
I'm looking with a magnifying glass here and I still can't tell.
Yeah. And maybe the artist did that on purpose, right?
Maybe,
so that whatever you wish it to be. And is that the sun or the moon, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the sun because they draw those rays.
Yeah.
The sky is yellow, or the background sky is yellow.
Yeah, which I thought was, I guess it's supposed to represent daytime, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so that actually goes back to what you're saying about being enlightened, right?
Yeah.
The light of day, yeah. And you have, I guess, mountains or hills in the background, kind of a jagged ups and downs, but not severe ups and downs. And more sky than there is earth, right, in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
So again, showing more, like you were saying, that this is an enlightened person, very carefree and not worried about what goes on in this world because they are enlightened.
They're just about to fall off a cliff.
But it's also the number zero. Well, if zero is a number, it's zero. And zero can mean a new beginning, or it could be the end of something, or it's just nothing.
Also a number of creativity, zero.
Yeah.
Now, when Carlos Castaneda wrote about something like this, he one of his books, the ending was that the people who were trying to become enlightened, they found a cliff and they just ran off and jumped. And that was the end of the book.
Wow.
It was a blind leap into the abyss.
Yeah.
And that guy's about to go into the abyss too, if gravity keeps working on him.
Yeah. Because really, they could have shown someone like that, like how you just described. But those people just went off the cliff without things. He has objects. He does have things with him.
Yeah.
Earthly things.
Yeah.
And he has a feather in his cap. Yeah.
So when you say that slogan, "We got a feather in your cap," it usually means you've achieved something.
I'm still trying to figure out the little white dog.
That's his buddy.
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be enlightened because that's the card, or is that just something that's being read in?
We're
reading,
reading into it.
yeah, we're reading into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we're both fools, Ken and I, and so we can read whatever we want into it.
Yeah. So relax there, baby.
I was just curious because I don't get enlightened from him at all.
No, that's
Oh,
see, the view is of the interpreter that I'm using is this is how an enlightened person looks to a non-enlightened person.
Hmm.
And it looks like naivety, and you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
It's
But you
actually
are paying
starting,
attention to something. It's just not earthly things.
yeah.
That's the interpretation now. And I kind of like it. As we talked about it here, I like it more and more.
he's starting the path of enlightenment. It's all,
Or just about to end the old path of darkness.
Yeah.
but zero is a number of completion. So like, you know, in the world card, right? The wreath around her is closed. Looks like a 0 as well. It's like
Yeah.
a symbol of completion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the beginning, the completion is already in the beginning. The completion, because, you know, as we know in spirituality, the great guru said, there's no time. Everything is happening all at the same time. Yeah, in this moment, in this
Mhm.
nano moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, the enlightenment is already there, but he's starting on the journey, but it's already there.
I can't read the bottom of the card. Does it say the Fool?
Yeah, it's the Fool.
Yep.
Has anybody read what the Fool is supposed to be according to
Isn't that what you're doing, Faith?
Yeah, that's I had read it, and I can only
No,
remember
no,
a few.
I haven't read it yet. Yeah.
Okay, this is what I have just in a little book, not like it's the booklet that comes with the deck. I don't have the actual book for this, right?
Yep.
The Fool, folly, mania, extravagance, intoxication, delirium, frenzy, bereavement. Again, like if we were to look at the medicine woman one, it would probably be different, you know, so because you know, it depends on the deck, right? Some of these decks, the creators do not put anything negative in them, and others will balance between the negative and the positive, right?
well, what you just read makes more sense to me than seeing him as being enlightened. I don't know why you guys see enlightenment here, but I mean,
Well,
look what
there's
he's
a sun.
wearing.
There's a sun behind him.
The light, the yellow behind them, enlightenment.
Well, I mean, what he's wearing, what he's wearing looks to me like he picked it out because it was so wild, you know, and so eye-catching. And I can't imagine anyone who was enlightened to care about that in that. I just don't see that.
Interesting that the dog is white as well.
Yeah.
And his sleeves are white. So.
That's a crystal in his, I don't know, did we talk about that? That crystal that's in his hand?
That's
that
a
looks sort of-
rose.
Oh, that's a rose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't rose symbolizing the heart, like open heart?
Yeah, it could. And it's
And,
white.
and it's pure heart. White is purity. So
Yeah,
do you want me to read what it says here?
sure. Yeah.
Keywords: impulse, infatuation, blind to the truth, childlike, pure, and uncorrupt. Key phrases: the eternal optimist, ready to leap into anything, taking each adventure as it comes, spontaneous and carefree, going on a personal quest, impulsively setting off into the unknown. The Fool usually implies new beginnings and childlike enthusiasm for life.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, that kind of hits the bell.
Inner child, unafraid of the unknown and ready to leap into the deep end.
Yeah, the leap of faith, going over the cliff, willing, you know,
Yeah.
just gonna keep on his merry way. But the
He's
sun
looking
is
at
behind
something up
him.
there, completely oblivious to his surroundings.
So I want to look at some other ones related to the Fool. Any more comments on this one? Okay.
Mm,
See, I mean, she's carefree, but she's secured to the earth, right? she's holding on, right?
Not for long. She's fallen over that edge.
Not yet.
Not yet, but she's on her way. She's letting go. That's what I see. She's just letting go. She's gonna let whatever happens, and she's abandoned, like she's just her eyes are closed, and you know, she's just fallen back into whatever that. Well, there's a net there by the looks of
Yeah,
it.
it's like a matrix of some sort.
Yeah, but on the right of just in the bottom right corner, as it above that geometric, it almost looks like a netting, but
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think she wants to feel what it's like to be over the edge without risking her life. So she's holding on to something that allows her to sway over that cliff. And she's got her eyes closed, and she's feeling a very interesting feeling of being right on the edge, but knowing that she's not going to go over.
Yeah, that's the impression I get too.
Yeah, that's not as foolish as the other guy.
And do you think she's holding a crystal, like a purple crystal?
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
she has faith and
Mhm.
spirit.
Well,
and-
Faith, you would say that.
yeah, yeah. It's a purple crystal, so it would
Yeah.
indicate spirituality or faith.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
Spirit.
Well, if it's an amethyst, it
Oh.
has some meaning as a amethyst, and that's usually sobriety is one thing that it signifies. She knows what she's doing, but she's just I feel that she's letting go. It's at that moment where she's just like, yeah, I made up my mind, and I'm gonna just let go,
Yeah.
and whatever happens, happens. But she's
not going to let go of that rope,
I think that's just her staff. I think
or
Yeah,
is
it
her
is, it's
whatever
now.
that is. She's
Yeah.
not going to let go of that.
no,
Yeah.
well, she'll take it with her in a crystal. But she's falling into some sacred geometry, a lotus of whatever.
Yeah. But
Interesting.
also she's very feminine, right? Very feminine. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really nice to see in the picture.
She's also got a big bracelet on.
Mhm.
Another, yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Okay. And then this one.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Brent. You know
I like
what? I
his little
found this
horns.
one. I said this is a Brent one. Okay, so Brent, what do you think about this one? Besides, it's great.
I think I think that's a big fat eye of consciousness in the background, and I think he's onto it.
Mhm.
And I think he's dancing into his higher consciousness. Is this still a Fool card?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's sort of whimsically going into something that he doesn't really understand very well, but he knows that he should understand it. He knows he needs to get into it. So he's open to getting into it, and he's going to go. Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah.
See, he looks very pagan, but his surroundings, even the earth, looks mystical, right? So it's
Yeah.
as if he's already in the mystical world.
Yeah, he's lost in some kind of consciousness.
Yeah.
That's what psychedelics do to you. That's what
Yeah, man. He's in it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's going for the upper echelon there, up into the higher realms. And it's a leap of faith. He's, you know, he
Yeah.
knows he has to do it to get there. So he's going off the cliff,
Yeah.
even though could be dangerous, but he's looking up. And he's got his rose. He's going, hey man, I'm cool. I got this rose. It's gonna lead me.
Or some sort of flower. That's right. It's some
Or
flower.
flower, yeah.
Yeah.
So he looks like a fool to other people because they don't understand what's going on in his head.
Yeah, that's what
Mm-hmm.
Ken was saying.
And here, I mean, he has one leg, or at least a foot over the edge, whereas the other one, he hadn't quite gone to the edge yet. I mean, he's totally, really on the edge.
And that dog is back.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a magical card, really. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if I can find the name of the deck, it's probably at the bottom there. I just can't see it for the other images, but I will put it in the video.
Yeah, I'd like to see more cards from this deck.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, okay. And then this one looked kind of traditional, so old
Oh,
fashioned.
he's in full leap. Wow.
But look how the ground is close on either side, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. He's got a cat instead of a dog.
Yeah.
The number 300.
Yeah, and then 0 on the other side of it.
0 on the other side. Yeah.
Huh. That look of bliss and
Yeah, he's pretty happy. Not
And the
much.
cat's not going anywhere, right? But
No.
Fool is really in motion, right?
Yeah, he's flying.
And I don't know if that's a rabbit or what is, or no, that's his bag on the other
That's
side.
his
right?
bag. Yeah.
oh, the leap of faith, I guess. The leap. Cats.
So now in
waving
English
around.
tradition
Mm.
or European tradition, the fool was an advisor to the king. This is and they wore like that kind of clothes. And what their job was when a tricky situation came up, they had to point out weird angles to the king so that the king could get the benefit of their crazy imagination. So it was actually an important tool to in the king's circle of advisors. So they've picked that up on this one because that's the traditional Joker fool kind of
Yeah.
a uniform that he's wearing, and the scepter and all that stuff.
This might be actually from the original deck. I'll have to check
Older,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
certainly looks older,
So,
more primitive. Green clouds.
yeah, like maybe the colors faded over time. But interesting. I like you contrast this with the last one we looked at, right? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's day and night.
Any other comments on this? Because, also the fact that this fool is leaping and looking up, but it's almost as if they knew that the other side was close and the bag is on the other side as if he knows he's going to get there, right? So he threw it to the other side in the hope and knowing that he can reach it. I wonder why they picked 300.
Yeah.
Faith, Brent, do you have any comments on this?
Not at the moment.
Looks like he's very confident. He's confident that he's gonna land on his feet.
And he's young, boy-like.
Yeah, he is like a boy, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. And then I think our last one is, I did want to show this one, which is from the Medicine Woman card, and it's called the Seed.
Yeah.
Seed card. I'll just, any comments before I read about it?
The addition of the seed is interesting for me. So whoever drew this, they got a fool like all the other ones and with the same characteristics, but they added this seed thing. I wonder what that means.
Yeah, and she's sprinkling seeds ahead of her.
Yeah. She has intention to sprinkle seeds, even though she's looking up, and the other ones don't. The other ones had flowers and a little traveling kit. This one doesn't. It's got
And there's
seeds instead.
Yeah, and there's a target. If you look at the ground, there's a
Yeah.
target as if the seeds will land there on the other side.
Maybe it's one of those crop circles.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a little village, it looks like a little teepee way
Yeah.
down there.
Little
Yeah.
village. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the seed is signifying the new beginning, and she's throwing that out there with the potential of a new beginning, the first step in that new direction, taking that leap, leaving the old behind, the leap of faith into the newer realm or world, life, and definitely moving. She's not standing there wondering. She's moving on.
Maybe she is a seed.
Ah.
Right.
Any other comments before I read this?
But she's throwing seeds too. Looks like she's
Yeah.
planting or
Mhm.
just throwing them kind of randomly into the wind. It's like, show me where I'm supposed to go or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Throw some seeds and see which one sprouts, and that's where I'll go.
Yeah.
See which one gives some life or fruit.
Hmm. So this is what it says: openness to flow, the fool, the seed being carried by the wind. Affirmation: all the power that ever was or will be exists in the here and now. I am therefore ready and willing to risk the loss of what I have been and move on to what I can become. I am the power to begin. The card speaks: I am the fool, a seed being carried by the wind. I am the first step in the process of manifestation. I am the idea that inspires life. I am inexperienced, yet within me lies the plan for my perfect unfoldment. To me, there is no time like the present in which to begin my journey. I carry my memories, my talents, my hopes, my dreams, my fears, and concerns in the bowl of myself, just as you carry these within the cells of your body. I carry the seed of self into every adventure. My fears summon me to prepare and make ready to overcome any dangers that might be ahead. The light of the sun illuminates my way. By earth, mother of all creation, I am nourished through movement and change. I grow. My path is revealed as I walk on.
Her next stop is going to be that river.
Yeah.
But she's put those seeds out before her.
Yeah.
She's not a complete fool.
No, she isn't. She is thinking ahead to some degree, right? She's trying to manifest something as she's making changes in her life.
Path will reveal itself as she moves.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess that's what they're trying to imply is you have to take some sort of action to have changes in your life. Okay, and then I'd like to show the hangman, and Ken and I can interpret that, and then we'll go to Brent. Okay, Ken?
Well, the same writer who, I only remember these two of what he wrote. And this one, you can see he's enlightened. He's got a little halo there. And this interpreter said, this is how we look to enlightened being. Everything's upside down. Everything on earth is the opposite of what it was before he became enlightened.
Mm.
So that basically, when you're hanging upside down, you want to see what enlightenment is like, just hang upside down for a little while, and that's how it looks. That was his interpretation.
Yes. Huh. And he's almost, it's not quite a cross, but could be close to being a cross.
Yeah, it's
Cross
sort of
cross.
like it.
Yeah.
He's only hanging by one leg too. That's supposed to have some significance that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Are his hands tied behind his back?
Yeah. It's hard to say because if they're tied, they might have shown that in some manner, or he just put it behind his back. And he's like alert. He's, I think even the fact that he shows his leg bent is to show that like he's in control of what he's doing. And it's the number 12, which again adds to 3, spiritual number. Anything else, Ken?
No, that's all I see. And I'm just going by what somebody else saw.
Well, the more that someone studies this material world we're in, you do begin to see that things are upside down, right? So the fool or the hangman's a good card to look at.
Lewis Carroll put some of this in his Alice in Wonderland. So when Alice went down the hole, things were not as they were on the surface. And one of the differences was as you walked towards something, it got smaller instead of getting bigger. And there was a few little things like that at the very beginning.
Yes.
I think he just, that was his interpretation of what the hangman has experienced there.
Yes. Yes. I guess it is a story about our perception of things.
Mhm.
So
Faith,
can I just ask, Ken, this person that was interpreting this, what they're saying is you become enlightened when you start to really understand that the world isn't what it appears to be.
I think that's something I might say, but I'm not so sure. The guy who did whose little booklet I read on this topic is a guy named Peter Ospinski, who wrote quite a bit of spiritual, maybe 3 or 4 books on these topics. So that was his interpretation, and he did all these. He did like not the whole deck, but the whole ones that are not cups, swords, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't remember them.
Arcana. Yeah. The greater arcana.
Faith, do you have a reading on this?
Sure. Well, you know, we've got the sun again and his sun representing enlightenment, right?
I was wondering what your book says.
So it signifies that it's a willingness, because he's only got one leg that's tied up and one leg is free. So it's like he's surrendered himself already. Anyway.
This is what I have just in the little booklet, the Hanged Man. Wisdom, trials, circumspection, discernment, sacrifice, intuition, divination, prophecy.
Flows with what is.
So what I have is transition, readjustment, limbo, paradox. Key phrases: sacrifice may be necessary. Bored with life. Oh, this is a negative. They're usually, all the other interpretations are usually pretty positive. Sacrifice may be necessary. Bored with life, anticipation of progress, static relationships, seeing life from a different angle, changing priorities, relinquishing control. Take a step back to move forward.
I like that, seeing the world from a different angle, right? Or seeing life from a
Yeah,
different
that one is the only one I really liked.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. Yeah.
So there's nothing about enlightenment in the one you read, Faith, at all?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
In
It says-
fact, I think it said that was a sun and not a halo. Ospinski's interpretation was a halo, and that's, he wouldn't have used the word enlightenment, but whatever his equivalent word was,
Yeah.
that's how he sees this.
Okay. So any more comments, or should we move on to Brent?
Move on.
Okay.
So this is a YouTube video. I liked it because it shows on the left side, the Thoth deck, and on the right side is a sort of a modern version of what this is. Some of which I like and some of which I don't like. But what I thought I'd do is, this is the number 1 card, is like I'll just move, like we'll just look at it for maybe 10 seconds or whatever. And then if anybody has any comments that they want to say about what they see, great. If not, then we'll just move on. So did we talk about the number 1 card the last week? I don't recall.
I don't
I
recall.
don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
The magician.
Oh, the magician. I think maybe we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you had, Dave, last week?
No. No.
So then on the right side, you can see a modern version of that. Anyway, I'll go on. We'll move on here.
Isis.
Now, we did talk about the priestess last time, didn't we? Yeah. So there's the modern version.
Wow.
That's a bow and arrow on her lap.
Mm-hmm.
It is on the other lap also.
Yeah. And nets. Awesome.
Yeah, it's not as if she'd be using the bow and arrow, but she'd be protected in some way, maybe. Right?
I interpreted that she was an executor. She had the power of life and death over people.
Mm. You should be interpreting this too, Brent. These are your cards. So this is the Empress? Anything you want to say about it?
No, I'm not having anything particular happen
Okay.
in my head right now. I'm in a strange mood. I am really in a strange mood. I think it's because I haven't eaten in a while.
Okay. Well, we'll just go through these because it's interesting. Look at the images. They're
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Emperor. Wow.
The one reminds
They're
me of the
both
king.
powerful. Those ones are very powerful. Those two.
Yeah.
This one we saw last week, I think, the one on the left.
Yeah, yeah. I think the older one is much, well, there's something nice about the new ones. They're sort of slick, but as you see more of them, I don't think they measure up to the old ones in some respects.
Oh, okay.
I agree. There's a style in the older one that's,
Mhm.
you know, consistent in the whole card.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just-
These are quite close, aren't they? Very
oh
similar.
yeah,
Mm.
This one we didn't talk about, I don't think.
No, we didn't. No. The lovers.
They both dress them like kings and queens.
mhm. The great cosmic egg.
Now, the modern one doesn't have the white little boy and the black little boy, do they? Does it? So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe this is a politically correct deck or something.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that the kids, okay, so one's white and one's black. I don't think they care one way or the other about that. Oh, and then the king is black and the queen is white.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
I would like to hear a reading on this card if we've got anybody that's got a good because I don't know. I
the lovers?
I'd like to hear that. Yeah.
I can just tell you what Carol Bridges had, I think. You'd almost want to read the version for this one, but and what's the number? Oh, it's
6.
6 or 2.
6.
Six.
Ecstasy loving, is that the one? I don't think that oh, okay. Beauty, equilibrium, the lovers finding the spirit within, unite with ecstasy. Affirmation with love, I entice the inner person into relationship with the other world. I attract what I wish to become, and I radiate what I am. Beauty surrounds me. The earth and I are one. We are the lovers, both within and outside of yourself. We are 2 parts of you. The beauty you see in the person you love is but a mirror of that beauty within yourself. As you love another, you begin to love yourself. Within you, a perfect self dwells and begins to have expression through love, becoming confident enough to walk out into the world. I, the woman attuned to spirit, am given form through the male attuned to the needs of the world. I, the male attuned to the needs of the world, am given inspiration and guidance through the woman attuned to spirit. The superconsciousness is manifest through the flesh in our perfect union. The word is made flesh between us.
In your definition of faith, is there anything in there about the coloring of the white and the black
Now we're talking about the one,
on the left with the white and the black? There's some significance in that, and I'm not sure what it is.
it could indicate choice, like an option, a choice that's black and white. It's not necessarily the interpretation of the colors themselves, but rather choice. Because I think the lovers is also about choices, right? One way or the other, between 2 different options in life. Like it's not necessarily literally about the lovers.
Okay.
It's got 2 little children there too, right? Standing.
Yeah. We did this one last time, I think. And so there's the newer one.
I don't recall this one last week. Yeah, he's in like a chariot of some sort, right?
We didn't talk about this last week, guys?
No,
Okay.
at least I don't recall this one at all.
I've been looking at a lot of cards, so I
Oh,
don't
the
know
chariot. I love that one. I see that one a lot too. That one's-
So,
I like the newer one with the round thing in the middle with the red in the center. I like that part of it better, but I don't think I like the rest of it. Any comments?
it just
They got a crab on their head.
Oh yeah.
but there's also something written in the newer version up in the, is it ABC? No, is it the alphabet or not? No, it's a word of some sort up above the knight on the right side.
Up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't know what that wording is.
Okay, we'll move on.
Abracadabra. It's abracadabra.
Oh,
Okay. Yep. Another one. Mm.
Mm.
These are very similar.
Yeah.
Balance the scale. What's this? Justice or
Punishment or just, oh, that's a good question.
Adjustment.
adjustment? Is that what it is?
Oops.
Seems to me it should be justice.
Yeah,
Those are
'cause
scales of
scale.
justice, you know, the classic Greek thing, one on one side and one on the other.
Right.
Adjustment. So I guess
Adjustment.
striving for balance, right?
What about the death card? What about
Any more, Brent? Because I don't know if we have time to go through everything, but
That's
we
right.
do a
That's
few
right.
more.
Yeah. Well, here's a real this is oh, oops. I'm going to go back to that one.
Yeah.
Right. So the one on the left we saw last time.
I don't remember that one last week either. Which one is this?
That's a hermit.
Oh, the hermit. Oh,
Remember that he was looking away. I remember that part where we were discussing that.
Mhm.
yeah, but was it where we weren't looking at your deck for this one, right?
We were looking at another
Oh,
deck, but it
okay,
was
then
very
that other-
similar. It was very
yeah.
similar to the card on the left. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the hermit's looking towards the serpent or the snake. He's got
Cosmic
his eyes
egg.
on them.
That's the cosmic egg.
Oh, the cosmic egg that the serpent is surrounding.
Mhm. Wheel of Fortune. One day you're up, next day you're down.
Mm.
One day you're the Sphinx, the next moment you're a monkey. Or an
Yeah.
Oh, this is last, yeah,
Wow.
it's like the Whore of Babylon, right?
Now it's pretty obvious what's going on the left side, but on the right side, which he's holding up in the air. I don't know how you would interpret that,
Yeah,
but the other one doesn't need any interpretation, really.
yeah. Can you go back to that
Sure,
one?
sure.
Oh, it's hard to see the
Oh,
woman.
that's right. It is. Okay, let me
Let's
just,
see.
there we go.
Look how voluptuous the woman is on the left and how flat chested the woman on the right. I have to say that because the shape of women, especially young women, has, changed that way, right? So yeah, just interesting. Look at that. And also she holding up like whatever it is, it's almost as if it's fruit on the left. Like an apple or something or whatever.
Think about what happens when you're in a position she's in. Like that to me looks like an orgasm.
Oh.
And the heads here of the lion, you see just a lion, an angry lion over here, but
Yeah.
the heads of what's there is much more detailed. It's like maybe all the different ways,
Yeah.
all her different lovers or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
and the tail? Did you say this tail is a snake? Looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you just looked at the right hand card, you wouldn't get anything like you get from the left hand card.
On the
Quite a-
left, you can even see the serpents or the tails of snakes at the top too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it is more meaningful, I think, right? You
Right.
really get a sense that she is at least really female, right?
Oh, yeah.
The one on the right,
Right.
the top of her doesn't even look female, right?
I wish that artist was here that could explain it, because why he did it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a boy.
Yeah,
It's the hangman.
yeah. Oh, we looked at the death one. Wow, look at the difference.
Yeah.
I actually liked the one that what we talked about last week. I thought that was interesting. I just thought was interesting. It is more action, right? So,
Yeah, it's a much better rendition of what the card means than the one on the right, I think.
yeah. Okay, do you want to do two more, Brent?
Mm.
Oh, this is interesting. Which one's this?
The devil.
Oh, it is the devil. Wow.
Quite different than the classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
But look at the tower in the original card. Wow, like you can hardly even see a tower. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Hmm.
But you see the all-seeing eye, right, in both of them.
Mhm. That one is the Picasso deck, the one on the left.
Yeah, definitely.
Picasso deck.
Yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to see what he would do with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, Brent. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a long meetup, but that's okay. That was enjoyable. I think next week, just an open forum. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad we did the tarot again. And like I said, probably just an open forum next week. Or if you have any suggestions, just let me know.
You know, we could even do another art one and make it, you know, maybe Picasso's and something else. And just, I kind of enjoy it when we all look at the same thing and then we come up with different interpretations, slightly different interpretations. Just, you know, our minds are seeing different things. And I think it's interesting to do that.
Well, next week, do you want to just open it right and we can kind of go from there? And then if we want to do something like that, we could do it maybe the week after. That's why I'm wondering, do we? Oh, did he do cards?
Oh,
Somebody did it.
yeah.
Justice Picasso. Yeah, it's out there.
It's out
Think
there.
of it.
We're all out there.
We're all out there.
I
You know
just
what?
want to throw this out to you. It's not something I want to do next week or anything like that. But I have been thinking I would like to do something because, you know, there is this feeling that we label things good and bad or evil or whatever. But it would be interesting to do a discussion about good and evil. So it's
Mhm.
something to consider.
Sure, absolutely. That's a great thing because that's the Garden of Eden story.
I have one more thing I'd like to put on the table, because now that we've looked at quite a few cards and each of us has our own view, and that notice, so I'm really noticing that each of us really does have our own view. So I wonder if this is true for everybody who goes through those cards. So if I were a professional tarot reader, or I wanted to even do it for just for fun with somebody, I think I'd like to pull the card and let them tell me what they see. And then I would give feedback based on what they see and the relationship between what they see in that card and that one and that one, without imposing the proper symbols. I think that imposition of proper symbols is not proper. I think it's just somebody else trying to tell us what they think, and we're telling what we think, and our authority is just as great as theirs. That's one view, and I think it would be valid. And the way to test it is, let's do a card reading with somebody, not with us, because we're much too educated now, but with somebody who maybe hasn't even seen them before, and they don't know what they're supposed to be seeing. They just see what they see, and
Yeah,
they interpret it according to their own lives. I
yeah.
think that would be meaningful.
Yeah, it's just trying to find someone that hasn't had some sort of connection with cards. But I will tell you an exercise that a psychic did with me once, right?
Mhm.
And he said, and he's from Africa, and his grandmother used to do readings for people and all this, right? He said, okay, he gave me like a little, you know, book, like a notebook thing, right? And he said, okay. And he started asking me questions. He said, I want you to open the book and tell me what you see. And they were all blank pages.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had to tell him what I saw on these blank pages, which
Wow.
I think would be an interesting exercise to do as a group, where we have an empty slate or empty book. We have certain questions we pose, and then we say, what do we see there?
That
Very
could be interesting.
Well, what we
I
talk
have-
about is what we don't see there that's in our heads, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all in our head. There's a blank page.
Anyway, it's a thought, something to think about. And thank you again to everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Wait.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.